Good morning, everyone. Before we start, I would like to ask you to imagine something. Imagine being a student who comes to school without having breakfast because your family cannot always afford nutritious food. And now, imagine sitting next to another student whose family can easily provide healthy meals every day. Should most students receive exactly the same government assistance? This question lies at the heart of Indonesia's Free Nutritious Meal Program, or NPG. The program aims to provide nutritious meals to students in order to improve their health, concentration, and academic performance. Many people support this policy because they believe every student deserves equal treatment regardless of their economic background. However, I disagree that the MBG program should be given to all Indonesian students, including those from wealthy families. In my opinion, government assistance should prioritize students who genuinely need support, especially when public resources are limited. My first reason is related to the government's budget. Every public program requires funding, and government resources are not unlimited. Therefore, policymakers must decide how to use public money in the most effective way possible. Wealthy families generally have the ability to provide nutritious meals for their children without government assistance. As a result, giving free meals to students from high-income families may not be the most efficient use of public funds. This concern becomes even more important when we compare MBG with other educational assistance programs. According to publicly available budget data, the MBG program received much larger allocation than the Kartu Indonesia Pintar or KIP program. While MBG is estimated to receive around 268 trillion rupiah, KIP receives only around 15.32 trillion rupiah. This comparison raises an important question about policy priorities. As KIP recipient myself, I have personally experienced how meaningful targeted assistance can be. Programs like KIP are designed specifically to help students from low-income families to continue their education. This assistance might help students buy school supplies, pay transportation costs, or reduce other educational expenses. Because of this experience, I believe government support becomes more effective when it's directed toward those who truly need it. If the government has a limited budget, shouldn't assistance be prioritized for students who face financial difficulties? Like, instead of providing the same benefit for everyone, including those who are already financially secure, the government could focus more resources on students who struggle to access proper nutrition and educational opportunities. In this way, public funds could create a greater positive impact. However, supporters of the MBG program present an argument that should also be considered. They believe that providing meals to all students promotes equality and reduces social stigma. If only poor students receive free meals, some children may feel embarrassed or different from their classmates. By giving the same meals to everyone, school can create a sense of inclusion and ensure that no student is singled out because of their economic background. For example, when all students receive the same meal, nobody knows who comes from a wealthy family and who comes from a low-income family. This may help students feel more comfortable and prevent discrimination. In addition, universal program is often easier to manage because schools do not need to identify which students qualify for assistance. Well, I understand these arguments and I agree that equality is important. However, equality and equity are not always the same thing. Giving everyone exactly the same support may seem fair on the surface, but people have different needs and circumstances. In public policy, fairness often means providing greater support to those who need it most. My opinion is also influenced by my personal observation. My mother is a kindergarten teacher, and through her experience, I've learned that not all children want the food provided in free meal programs. Some students do not finish their meals, while others simply do not like the menu being served. In some cases, the food is taken home by her or left uneaten. This situation makes me wonder whether the universal distribution is always the best solution. If some students already have access to nutritious food at home and are not interested in the meals provided, the possibility of food waste becomes higher. Meanwhile, there are still many students in disadvantaged communities who would benefit greatly from additional nutritional support. Instead of distributing resources equally to everyone, it may be more effective to focus on students who genuinely need assistance. Ultimately, this essay is not about whether students deserve nutritious food or not. I believe every child deserves access to healthy meals and a quality education. The real issue is how government resources should be distributed. Should assistance be given equally to all students, or should it be prioritized for those who need it the most? In my view, the answer is clear. While the MBG program has good intention and might promote equality, it should not be given to all students, including those from wealthy families. Government assistance should focus on students from low-income families, food insecure communities, and other vulnerable groups. By doing so, the government can reduce waste, use public funds more efficiently, and ensure that support reaches the people who need it the most. Therefore, I disagree with the idea that the MBG program should be distributed universally. A more targeted approach would be fairer, more effective, and more beneficial for Indonesian students in the long term. Thank you very much.
Before moving on into my second essay, I would like to connect it with the previous topic. In my first essay, I discussed how government policies can influence student educational experience through programs such as MBG. However, education is not only affected by government assistance, it is also influenced by the way learning is delivered. One of the biggest changes in education over the last decade has been the rapid growth of online learning. Imagine attending a class without entering a classroom, discussing assignment through a video call, and accessing learning materials with just a few clicks. For many students today, this is no longer unusual. Online learning has become an important part of modern education. Although the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated its adoption, the continued growth of online learning today is mainly driven by technological advancement and the demand of flexibility. As a result, online learning has created both positive and negative effects for students and schools. One major cause of the rise of online learning is technological advancement. Over the past decade, internet access has improved significantly, and digital devices such as smartphones, tablets, and laptops have become more accessible. At the same time, educational platforms such as Google Classroom, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Moodle have made it easier for teachers and students to communicate, share materials, and conduct classes online. Because of this innovation, online learning has become a practical and efficient learning method. Another important cause is the increasing demand for flexibility. Student and teacher today often need learning methods that can adapt to different schedules and situations. Online learning allows students to attend classes from various locations without having to be physically present in a classroom. Even after the pandemic, many educational institutions continue to use online platforms because they provide convenience and save time. For example, some of my university classes are still conducted through Zoom. This shows that online learning is no longer just an emergency solution, but has become a regular part of education. The COVID-19 pandemic also played a significant role in the growth of online learning. During the pandemic, schools and universities were forced to move their classes online. And as a result, both teacher and student became familiar with digital learning platforms. Also, the pandemic has ended, many institutions continue to use this tool because they have already become integrated into the learning process. Therefore, rather than being the main reason for online learning today, the pandemic can be seen as the catalyst that accelerates an existing trend. The rise of online learning has produced several positive effects. One of the most significant benefits is greater accessibility to education. Students can access learning material anytime and from almost anywhere, as long as they have an internet connection. Recorded lectures, digital textbook, and online resources allow students to review lessons whenever they need additional support. This flexibility helps students learn at their own pace. And another positive effect is the development of digital skills. Through online learning, students become familiar with various technologies that are increasingly important in higher education and the workplace. They learn how to participate in virtual meetings, collaborate through online platforms, manage digital documents, and communicate professionally in virtual environment. These skills remain valuable even after students return to traditional classroom. As someone who experienced online learning since middle school and still use online platform in university, I can personally see this advantage. Online learning has helped me become more independent in managing my assignment and more confident in using digital tools that supports my studies. However, online learning also has several negative effects. One major challenge is the lack of direct social interaction. In face-to-face classrooms, students can communicate naturally with their classmates and teacher. They can ask questions immediately and participate in discussion more actively and build stronger social relationships. In online environment, these interactions are often more limited, which may reduce students' sense of connection and engagement. Another negative effect is decreased concentration and motivation. Studying from home can be challenging because students are surrounded by distractions such as social media, mobile phone, television, or household activities. Without direct supervision, some students might struggle to stay focused during lessons. Based on my own experience, there were times when it was more difficult to concentrate during long online classes compared to learning in a physical classroom. In addition, online learning can widen educational inequality. Not all students have access to stable internet connection, suitable device, or supportive learning environments at home. While some students can participate comfortably in online classes, others face technical difficulties that negatively affect their learning experience. As a result, the benefits of online learning are not always distributed equally among students. In conclusion, the growth of online learning has been driven by technological advancement. the increasing demand of flexibility and the influence of the COVID-19 pandemic as an accelerator. This trend has brought several positive effects, including greater access to education, flexible learning opportunities, and improved digital skill. At the same time, it has also created challenges such as reduced social interaction, lower motivation, and unequal access to technology. Therefore, although online learning has become an important part of modern education, I believe it should complement. It should be complement rather than completely replace traditional face-to-face learning. By combining both approaches, school and universities can create a more balanced and effective learning experience for students. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. See you next time.